Express.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Bonnie Mbuli. Now, first off, we'd like to honor a very well-loved musician who we've all lost, Mandoza. We'd like to send our condolences to his family and may his family may his soul rest in peace. Today on the show, we're talking about post-traumatic stress, and we're joined by Thembi Maphanga, who survived a horrific attack by an ex-partner, and she's here to tell us the story. We also chat to Sam Scarborough, who's written a book called Trapped, about how to escape an abusive relationship. I'm not alone in the loft. Jeannie's back.
And I'm back. You know what? Out of everybody that I missed while I was away, I had the most insane holiday, by the way. I missed you the most, Clem.
Thank you.
And I was traveling across from Spain and France and all these amazing places. And the whole time I was thinking about you, thinking, Clem has to teach me how to make this delicious meal. So what are you teaching me to make today?
So today we're taking lesser-known cuts of beef, and we're focusing on free range and how to cook them. We're going to make an amazing slow-braised beef ragu, and then teach you how to use that ragu to make a pie.
All right, so lesser used, what, lesser?
Lesser used. Not just
lesser cuts of, okay. But we've also got some prime cuts in the loft today because we have Nick Hamman and Mad Maddie Bike that we're going to be chatting to as well a little bit later in the loft. Today is going to be an amazing show. It's going to be so busy. Remember, if you want to cook along with us, if you want to chat to us, we are live and we'd love to hear from you all day long. Right now, though, Bonnie's on the couch with our very first guest.
Now, Thembi Maphanga is proof that there can be life after abuse and trauma. After surviving a traumatising and horrific domestic violence act, she's reaching out to other survivors, creating a supportive community. Today, Thembi Maphanga joins us to share her story. Thembi, thank you so much for joining us in the loft.
Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Yeah. So you were in this happy 2-year relationship with this man. And what was it like?
It was love at first sight. It was a happy relationship. And down the line, it didn't take long. He lost his job. And from there, he didn't cope. He started abusing me emotionally, but then he didn't do it physically. And I kept on believing him when he said he apologized.
Yeah.
And I hoped for the best because I loved him and I wanted us to have a better future.
Yes.
And he kept on repeating. And one day, just like that, after a simple argument, he just decided that he's gonna pour us with petrol. I didn't even see that coming.
Wow. So before we get there, I just want to ask, did you see the abuse start to happen gradually, or do you feel like it's something that happened overnight?
It didn't happen overnight. It didn't take that long as well, because I wasn't sure whether I'm abused or maybe he's just stressed. And then I thought I have to be so supportive and I can't just let him, when he lashes out, and I just write him off.
Did he just start fighting with you? What are some of the things he would say?
You didn't have to do anything wrong. He'll just come out and you're chatting, and the next thing he lashes out, he calls you names, and emotionally you are so drained, and he isolates you. He doesn't want you with people. Friends, you can't be with your friends, you can go out, you can do things with your girls, and then he keeps you for himself, so that when he does all that he did, no one you're going to talk
help
to.
You.
Yes.
Yeah. And where were your family during this process? Were you starting to tell them about what was going on?
I spoke to my family and his family. They sat together and he apologized.
Right.
And then the last resort, that's when he decided he can't take it anymore. And we argued. He told me, I think this is not working out, it's fine, as we have to separate.
And then you guys broke up? And then you asked him to move out of your home?
Yes, and then he came to collect his stuff. It's natural. He asked me, can we talk?
Yes.
Then we went to the bedroom. He pulls out a 5-liter can. I'm like, relaxed. I don't know what he's planning. Okay. Until the petrol was all over me.
And where are your kids at this stage?
My kid is in the bedroom with me, my 2-year-old daughter.
Wow. And so he pours petrol over...
He pours petrol. We fight over a match for like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm screaming. He locked the door. I'm screaming my lungs out. Now I know what's happening. We're fighting, and I'm gonna die. Wow. We fought for the match. He lit the match, and he flew through the window. He left us there with my daughter.
Wow. Who came to your rescue? How did you get help?
I followed him. I jumped through the window as well, figured in flames. I couldn't see, but I know the surroundings of my house. I knew where the tap was. I threw myself with water. Neighbors came, took out my daughter. After that, that's when we get medical help.
Wow, so you ended up in a coma for a while.
My daughter's passing. I wasn't even there because I was so critical.
Because you didn't know.
I didn't know, yes. So it was a very traumatizing time.
So the day you woke up and you found out what had happened to your daughter,
when I woke up,
what was your reaction?
I remember because in my thoughts, I never thought my daughter will pass because seeing her, she wasn't that badly bent the last time I saw her. Because I kept on asking, where's my daughter? And they were beating around the bushes. No, you'll be fine. Concentrate on your health. And then eventually they brought a psychiatrist to come speak with me. No, your daughter didn't make it. She passed 3 months back. Then I relapsed again. It was tough.
Wow.
But with the grace of God, I made it. And I'm here.
Yeah. How did you begin your journey to healing?
Firstly, I wanted to die. When they showed me, this is the mirror, look at yourself. I was this Thembi who was trapped in this cage body that I didn't know.
You couldn't recognize.
I couldn't recognize. Like, I just wanted to die. I refused medication. I refused food. And then they told me, you know what, we're going to feed you by force if you don't want to eat. Then there and there, I saw that I'm not going anywhere. After staying there a week, refusing medication and food, then I decided God wanted me here. He wanted me here, and I'm alive. I have to do it for my daughter. She passed, I understand, so I have to stand up. And from there, the first thing I walked out of hospital, I opened up a social media page. I reached out
to other women who had been in abusive relationships.
And by speaking to them, I got healed. I got stronger every day. And here I am, and I'm still speaking with them every day. And by helping them, they help me back.
That's incredible. And did you ever hear back from Bongani? Did you speak to him again? Did he say anything?
2013, he sent the words to come and...
And he knew you'd survived?
He knew, yes. He sent the words. They came and delivered a letter of apology, that he's taking full responsibility of what he did. And yeah, I forgave him long before he sent the letter, because otherwise I would have been his victim. And the anger was consuming me. I couldn't live with the anger, so I let it go. It wasn't my battle to fight.
Did you ever want to lay charges against him, have him persecuted for what he did?
Already he was charged.
Okay.
So he handed himself over while I was lying there, because there was no one who was laying charges. So he handed himself over, saying he's guilty, he did all that he did. He wanted to be charged. So he was prosecuted. I wasn't happy, but then that was it was. And 2013, that's when he decided that it's time to apologize. But by then, I forgave him.
Yeah. And what would you say to a woman watching out there who feels they're in an abusive relationship and they don't know how to get out?
To the woman out there, I'm saying to them, once it's more enough. It doesn't have to be more than once.
Yeah.
You leave it to continue more than once, you're heading straight to your coffin.
Yeah.
Because they never stop. It's like they're on drugs. They don't stop.
Wow.
Yes, so women out there, if you feel like you are trapped, there's still life. You can move out. It's not the end.
Yeah.
So you claim your life, You leave your relationship that is so abusive and you move on with your life.
Move on with your life.
Yes.
Thembi, thank you so much for having the courage to come and share your story with us.
Thanks so much.
We also have a psychiatrist we'll be chatting to later on in the show for more advice on abusive relationships. Jeannie is on hand to read your comments.
Firstly, thank you so much to Thembi for being in the loft today, sharing such a brave and courageous story. And thank you so much for joining in the conversation on social media. For those of you who've commented on our Facebook page, thank you so much. I think Opal left a great comment by saying a very sad and touching story, but I hope it teaches our sisters not to stay in abusive relationships. Go out and get whatever help there is. And if he claims that he loves you, then it shouldn't hurt. Run while you can. We've also got a psychologist in the loft a little bit later who's going to be tackling more of these issues with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, I'm going to be in the kitchen with Clem making a beef ragu pie. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. If you've just joined us, good timing. We're about to get started in the kitchen. It already smells good, and we haven't even done anything yet. So what's going on?
Okay, so like I said, we're using lesser cuts of meat today.
Yeah.
And you were like, what's that? So we're all normally used to like the ribs and the steaks, right? Those are, like you said, the prime cuts.
Yes.
I was very impressed that you knew that.
Thank you. My father's a butcher. I should know more, actually.
So the lesser cuts of meat are actually, I think they're much better. Because those are the parts of the animal that actually work a lot more. And the more they work out, the more...
Like the
it does tend to be a bit more like... Let's just say it's a hard-working piece of muscle, so your biceps, for instance, if you're working it gets hard.
So it's more tender?
No, it's not. It's the opposite of tender.
Okay.
Which means it needs a lot of love. You've got to cook your meat low and slow to get all that flavour out of it. And I think that's where the love comes in. So meat that needs love tastes better.
Okay,
cool.
You sound quite needy right now.
So... Talking about the animals that roam around, these are more like worked cuts of meat.
Exactly.
It's free range, which means the difference between free range and the normal meat is these animals are actually roaming around.
Okay.
So free range meat tends to be, and it tends to be a little more tougher than normal meat. That's because the animals are out there actually walking around and exercising. Also, the meat is antibiotic free.
What does antibiotic free mean?
Animals are getting antibiotics for various reasons to try and just keep them on that path of just growing, get big, to finally turn into a product. So the meat that I'm using today from Woolies is antibiotic-free, growth promoter-free, and free range. So you're actually getting such a quality product. And being a lesser cut of meat, you're not paying as much as you would for like your prime steaks.
But it's not even that it's a better quality product. It's the only kind of product you should be eating. You can't be eating anything that they're injecting stuff into.
Ethically, you should only be eating...
ethical food.
There we go. There we go. Everything. Now we know.
You've sold me. So,
what I started doing is browning off the meat for the ragu. And it's very important you actually brown off the meat. You want it to have a lot of colour on the flesh and on the bone. Today we're using short rib. Shin. And you want that marrow that's in the centre.
Is that sealing it now? Remember you told me to seal it before. Is that what it is?
A lot of flavour, yes. Okay. So the marrow also kind of leaks out that amazing marrowy goodness in there. And that's just like richness, and you want that. Cool, so next
You don't need to throw anything else in there. Just meat, right now. Just sealed, just brown.
You don't even have to add salt. It's so good. You're going to season as you go. So I'm going to turn over, and I'm going to ask you to pass me the... onions. And we're keeping everything quite chunky, because it's going to cook for quite a long time. So you don't want the onions to cook away and like turn into mush. You want it to still have some integrity.
Sure.
And if you could lean over and pass me that little tray with some... In here, I've got some...
Celery, spring onion and carrot. Yes!
Done. So exactly as you said, some celery, leeks, spring onion, and some carrot. That goes in.
What is the difference between a leek and a spring onion?
I just like to think that the leek is the big brother of the spring onion.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. And then I've got some rosemary. There we go. You got it, you got it, you got it. And then if you can pass me all the little herbs we've got in front of you over here. So it's quite intense, big flavour.
Thyme. Oregano.
Yes, yes.
Garlic.
Yes.
Salt and pepper.
There we go.
Bay leaves.
Bay leaves. So they're quite big, bold flavours, and they're going to stand up to about 2 hours of cooking. Whereas other ingredients are just a little, like, flimsy. They will just disappear.
I mean, I have heard about the slow food movement, but what are the benefits of cooking it slower like this?
First of all, the fact is the price of the meat. It's a lot cheaper. So you're able to buy more and then cook one big batch and break it up into 3 or 4 different ways.
Okay.
So today, the one option we're going to do is a pie, but this is so amazing through tagliatelle. Over a bun for a sloppy joe.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the pie is the way we're going to go today.
Yummy.
So all it is now is mix everything through, pour in some water, and you can either let it go on the stove top or in the oven for about 2 hours. And it's going to be fall apart tender after I add the water.
I'll throw the water in for you.
Go for it.
How much?
All of it, because that's going to reduce and keep on topping it up.
Okay.
No need for stock. You've got all that amazing beef flavour in there already, and you are 2 hours away from heaven.
Oh, that is absolutely delicious. So remember, if you would like the recipe and the shopping list, all you need to do is SMS
the word beef
to 33650. And then we're actually going to send you the entire recipe and the shopping list. SMSs are £1.50 each, and T's and C's apply. No free SMSs to get this. All right, this is amazing. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen here. But while we wait for that delicious pot to cook, Bonnie's on the couch with our next guest.
Thank you, Jeannie. Now, in case you've just joined us, our topic for today is overcoming an abusive relationship and the trauma that comes with it. Now, the newly released book, Trapped, by author Sam Scarborough, is the true story of a strong, independent woman's descent into abuse and how she eventually managed to escape. Joining us now is the author herself, Sam Scarborough. Welcome to the live scan, Sam.
Thank you.
What is Trapped about?
Trapped is my story. Trapped is a story of a 6-month relationship I got myself into, I found myself in, and how I got out of the relationship and how I recorded everything that was happening in the relationship to allow me to understand exactly what was going on.
Wow. Now, I'm going to read what it says on the back of the book. She was confident, beautiful, and financially secure. When she arrived in London with her daughter and 2 bags, the future looked bright. She was hoping for a real and mature relationship at last, but within days, things started to go wrong. Was he manipulating her? She wasn't sure. Maybe it was all in her head. She started a diary, evidence to reassure herself that she wasn't going mad. According to him, it was all her fault. Were those the beginnings of Trapped?
That is the beginning. The beginning was a diary for myself to record what was happening, to record what was being said, because I was being accused of things that I knew I hadn't done. So it started as a diary entry, and then later, to get more evidence for myself, I recorded text messages and emails. And those messages also form the basis of the book.
Wow. Now, I know one of the telltale signs of an abusive relationship is that he starts to convince you that you're unstable emotionally, that you're crazy, and that you're mad.
I needed
and you
antidepressants.
Need him. Yeah.
Yes.
And what are some of the things that he would say to you to convince you of that?
I can't remember exact things, but all I know that the good days were fantastic. So then I was living with my Prince Charming, the dream he sold me that I'd gone to London for. So everything was true, was real, was fantastic. And then obviously the cycle of the bad days came along. And it was the up and down, in and out, losing focus of actually what was happening, where I was, and why I knew inside, intuitively, that I was in a relationship with a deeply flawed person. But to try and pinpoint it was difficult when the good days were so good.
Yeah. Do you find a lot of women will stay in an emotionally abusive relationship because it's not the abuse isn't physical, so they can't pinpoint it right away?
It is difficult to pinpoint, but because I am a confident, mouthy girl, I've never sort of, not answered back when I didn't think I was right. But that in itself, I thought, could have been the problem. Maybe I was instigating it. Maybe I deserved what was being thrown at me. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was going mad. So that's why I wrote the book. My abuse was emotional and verbal. My abuse was nothing compared to a lot of women out there. And my abuse was only 6 months. But I've told the story, and I've bared all. I haven't rewritten the story. For me to read it again is actually quite boring, because I can't believe I go round and round in the same circle, and I just don't seem to be able to get out. Although 6 months is a very short time. Some women are trapped in relationships and marriages for years.
Yeah.
And the kids are involved. And, for me, I was financially independent. I could get out, but it still took me so long after the point where I knew I had to get out. I had to stick around until eventually I was strong enough, or a certain situation happened that was really the deciding factor for me.
And what was that situation?
He swore at my daughter. My daughter had been fairly protected from what was happening because a lot of it happened late at night. And that was the final straw.
Wow.
That was when I moved the very next day.
Absolutely. And any advice you have for women right now who feel trapped?
Look, I can't give professional advice, but it's step by step, it's day by day. Just be brave. People have told me I'm very brave for writing the book, but when I was in it, nobody told me to be brave. So what, am I only brave now because I wrote about my trauma? It's a weird thing. You have to get professional help. You have to work it through, and you will come.
You have to fight to get out.
Yes, you have to fight to get out, and the day will come.
Yes.
And, you know, hopefully you'll be strong enough to make the right decision on that day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam. So today you can win a copy of Trapped by Sam Scarborough. All you have to do is SMS the keyword books to 33650. SMSs are R1.50 each. T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Thank you for all the comments that you're sending in. Let's hear what some of you have to say.
Thank you so much to everybody watching at home. We're literally getting streams and streams of amazing Twitter and Facebook comments. Desiree Rafata says that, Thembi, you are such a courageous woman. Keep it up. You just healed me. And Dudu Vuma then says, very brave and beautiful woman. May you continue to bring hope to those who are abused. Then, of course, we asked you on social media if you have any particular item that's close to you that you like to hold in a time of distress, or if you need just a little bit of encouragement and security. And Matsalisa said, I hold this in times of distress. She's a brave soul, calm as well. Her story is sad. She's such beautiful eyes. So thank you so much for all of your questions and comments. Remember, we are on Twitter at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, and of course our Facebook page, which is Afternoon Express. We're going to be back after this quick break.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're talking post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, today we've heard the stories of two strong women who managed to overcome abuse and turn their stories into a message of hope to women out there who find themselves in similar situations. We're back with Thembi and Sam, and joining us now is psychiatrist Dr. Eileen Thomas. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
So what is post-traumatic stress disorder?
So post-traumatic stress disorder is a psychiatric diagnosis, and what it refers to is a syndrome that develops after a significant traumatic event. The traumatic event is typically of a very specific nature, so outside what is normal human experience. Common examples in our setting include muggings, hijackings, sexual assaults, so rapes, domestic violence or childhood abuse.
Right. What are the symptoms of it?
So PTSD can present in many different ways. Some of the most common symptoms is re-experiencing, so things like distressing dreams, flashbacks, avoiding speaking about the event or having conversations about what happened, being quite jumpy or hyper-aroused or vigilant, or changes in one's mood or the way you think about yourself. So a typical example would be somebody in an abusive relationship might say things like, it's my fault that he is abusing me. I deserve this. So there's changes in the way they think, which is not part of their normal cognitions.
Can there be any physical manifestations of it?
Definitely. So this is what's so fascinating about PTSD, is it can present in so many different ways. So because your stress system is affected, it's a biological illness, one can present with stress-related symptoms, which may include things like heart palpitations, feeling anxious, having panic attacks, shortness of breath, and typically those occur when the person is exposed to any stimuli that are related to the trauma.
Yes.
So reminders of the trauma.
Yeah. And how prevalent is post-traumatic stress disorder in South Africa?
Well, broadly, the estimates are, or the prevalence of PTSD globally is about 4 to 8%. South Africa, unfortunately, we have very high prevalence of traumatic events. So our prevalence is much higher than in a different context or different countries where there's substantially less violence. So in some studies, the estimates of PTSD is as high as 20 to 25%.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine also that PTSD starts to also show itself while the person is in the abusive relationship or in a traumatic experience. Did you ladies experience anything like that, where you were beginning to see a change in your behavior or physical manifestations of what was going on around you?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I was just devastated when I got back to South Africa. I was finished. I was just absolutely exhausted from the emotional turmoil.
Wow. And yourself, Thembi?
With me, I just remember some episode of frustrations because I was supposed to be this person that I'm expected to be, not to be myself and to be caged. So I was frustrated, easily annoyed.
And were you starting to behave like somebody else?
It didn't get to that. Unfortunately, it didn't get to that because before I was sure that I'm stressed and I'm going under serious stress. That's when this happened.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with another level of this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, we always ask this question, but why do women stay so long in abusive relationships?
Can I answer? A lot of the time you can't get out. A lot of the time you're still in love with the person. A lot of the time you're still believing the dream they sold you. And it's the love hook. There's so many factors why you can't get out.
Yeah.
And it's a slow process to become yourself again because everything's been stripped. You've been told you're somebody else. You've been told it's all your fault.
Right, yeah. And I mean, often when people are in relationships like that, you come out of it thinking, phew, I've just escaped, dodged a bullet, but you don't realize how much you actually still have to rebuild of your self-esteem. I mean, what are some of the things you had to do to just remember who you were before you went into the relationship?
Phew. With me, it was a lot because to start with, I was left with scars. I had to deal with this person that I didn't know, physical images. And next, I have to deal with my inner peace and my inner emotions. So, but I drew strength from my family. They were so supportive and loving. And from that, I drew that love, and eventually, step by step, I managed to rebuild myself. I managed to regain who I am. And I looked in the mirror and I started loving myself again. And I learned to live with this person that I am today. And I loved myself.
Yeah.
And life went on.
Yeah. Doctor, is post-traumatic stress disorder treatable? How do we treat it?
So it's definitely treatable. It's also preventable. So if a traumatic event doesn't occur, the illness will manifest. So treatment is broadly, we categorize it in either therapeutic processes or we can use medication. It's very dependent on the person, so the individual. There might be reasons why somebody cannot engage in therapy immediately. So if there's substance abuse, if they're suicidal, which are common things that are comorbid with PTSD.
Yes.
That would preclude that treatment avenue, but there's also very effective medication options available.
Yeah. I mean, can you just give us questions that a person can ask themselves to find out if they are in a relationship like that?
Whether they're in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
I mean, telltale signs would be when you start isolating yourself, isolating yourselves from usual friendships or family, and it's a slow process. It's a slow, calculated process that happens. When you find yourself not enjoying things that you usually enjoyed, so pleasurable emotions, happiness, being optimistic, if your outlook on life changes. Those would be telltale signs. And then obviously not all abusive relationships are physically abusive. So I think it's also important for people to realize that abuse can occur in many different forms. And emotional abuse is as scarring as physical abuse.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being so brave and sharing your stories with us. Let's hear what you had to say on social media. Jeannie.
Yeah, let's quickly see what's going on online. Makama Marcia says this was a very emotional story, and I really respect the fact that Thembi has forgiven him before he can apologise. This helps the process of healing. No woman should tolerate abuse. Then Stephanie says, I'm really inspired by Thembi. You're an amazing lady and truly have a beautiful soul. Thank you for going public with your experience. Women have to recognise the red flags before it's too late. Nobody deserves to be treated without dignity. And then Nonofo says, I love how how she's gathered the strength to move forward with her life and educate young women. She's one strong-willed and courageous woman. Thank you so much for sharing her story. And thank you so much for being part of the stories of all these really courageous young women sharing their stories with us today on the show. We love hearing from you. So remember, at Afternoon Chat, hashtag Afternoon Express, and of course, comment on our Facebook page. We're going to be back after the break with the amazing Nick Hamman and Mad Money Mike. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. The Hamman Time show is fast becoming one of the most popular shows on South African radio. If you listen to 5FM from 8 to 10 a.m. on weekday mornings, then you definitely know why. Currently, the host, Nick Hamman, and his producer, Mad Money Mike, are on a road trip across SA promoting the 5FM Cape Town Live Loud concert. Welcome, Nick and Mike.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm so happy that you're finally on this couch, and I've been dying to speak to you because your first time on air on 5FM, I switched on and I listened and I thought, who is this guy? And I really hope he's good looking because he's funny.
Yeah.
And so I had to...
Right?
No, but I was dying to hear what you look like. But also listening to, and obviously I'm a fan of the show, I love 5FM. Your show has got the ability to take radio and make it a little bit more multi-sensory. You bring in your audience so much, so I can see why your show's doing so well.
Thank you.
Why do you think, and I mean, it's obviously a lot of hard work, but why do you think the show's doing so well?
I think it's because we're different from the dynamic of any other radio show.
Yeah.
Myself and Mad Money Mike have been friends in a creative partnership since I was in varsity and I met him then. He was my first mentor, the first person to ever inspire me.
Yeah.
And the working relationship we have is very different from anybody else in that, like, off the air, we're great mates.
Yeah.
So we believe in people and content and not in vacuity. And sometimes the industry can get a bit oversaturated with celebrity and all that kind of... We just we can't do it well. And so we try to be more genuine as a fallback.
Now, I know the strength, I suppose, in a good partnership, because nobody can be good on their own. You need a really good team. So what do you bring out in each other? I'm joking. I was going to say, I wasn't talking about you. I'm joking with that. What do you bring out in each other that makes it... Because, I mean, you obviously know his weaknesses, but you know his strengths. How do you bring it out in him?
I think that's just it. Because we've been doing this for quite a while, and even back at campus days, it's you kind of have an understanding of someone. You walk on a road to Polokwane for 2 weeks, you're definitely going to get to know someone. So it's just an understanding. If I've got a bad day, he gets it.
I know his faces, he knows mine. We actually don't argue. It's just like a look.
Yeah.
Like, he'll look at me and I'll be like, sorry, dude, didn't mean to do whatever I've done, and I won't do it again.
Now, the one way that you really do get to know somebody is if you travel with them. And now you guys are doing this road trip. Let's have a little look and see what you guys have been up to.
Road trip live loud. What a sight to behold. Hey, it's me, Nick Hamman, the man with the plan, coming in your ear holes on Hamman Time every day from 8 to 10. I gotta tell you, this road trip has been nothing short of amazing. Myself and Mad Money Mike have been traversing all the corners of the Western Cape, seeing every great sight and sound that this place has to offer.
Okay, road trip live loud. Tell us about it. How did it start and what are you doing?
Basically, we thought, you know, we grew up in the Western Cape, like anybody does anywhere in South Africa. But like most of us, we don't ever get to see half the place and experience its beauty. And, you know, there are times in which people can become a little bit negative about South Africa and the country. There can be a bit of a weird sentiment going on. And we wanted to take things back to basics, get back out on the road and show this country for the natural beauty that it has and the natural beauty of the people that it has as well. And we're throwing like a massive concert this coming Saturday, and we wanted to kind of show people that if we can bring in listeners from all over the Western Cape, you can come and join us next week Saturday.
You brought some friends with you.
Yeah, we did.
Please tell us about them.
This is Monkey. Doesn't have another name. Just Monkey. It's been with me since I was high, since it's my early memory. You know, my little comfort blanket. And it's nice being back here, seeing the folks. You know, kind of get to live a bit more about how you used to live before you moved, and you know they kind of still hold on to these things.
Wow. And yours?
This is Nipples the elephant, and we first met back in 2008 after I played my first ever club gig. I was like back in high school, and suddenly it's this big break. My band and I, we were going to make it. And it was also the first time I'd ever got paid for not. I used to make money from like the age of 13, running like I used to play jazz music in restaurants and 21st.
Because you're a drummer as well, aren't you?
Yeah. Classically trained.
Oh, wow.
Jazz drummer.
Hang out a lot more.
Anyway, but the first time there was like a cool band, you know what I mean? Like we were playing in the nightclub. Afterwards, me and a mate went out and we had R2 left, and I put it in a claw machine, and I won this little elephant.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I kept
Nobody
him.
ever wins those things.
Exactly. So now it's just remained attached to me.
But I love how patriotic you guys are as well. Like there's a segment in the show where people phone in from like random little towns and explain why or what's so nice about those little
that
towns.
town.
It's so cool. But tell us more about the Live Loud concert. I mean, that's going to be huge. It's happening in Kenilworth.
So, listen up, South Africa. This
This is the
Saturday.
punt.
No, here comes a real punt. This is serious. This Saturday, the entire day, and tickets are available at CompuTicket right now. You're going to see all of SA's biggest artists live on one stage. It's the hottest party this side of the Limpopo. It's going to be incredible.
Huge.
Jeannie D's probably not going to be there.
I'm
But
totally going to be there because Black Coffee's playing.
Are you coming? Are you really coming?
I'm coming.
Are you coming?
I love how you put on the money voice, though. You gave us the free
gotta
voice. You
sell
just
it.
put on the money voice.
Why is your name Mad Money
Mad
Mike?
Money
Because
Mike.
you're making mad money now that you're on CompuTicket.
Yeah, let's go with that one. That work.
All right, so listen up, all you party animals. Today we are giving away, wait for it, not one, not two, but 10 sets of double tickets to Cape Town Live Loud, coming up this Saturday on Heritage Day. Now, it's one of the biggest parties of the year, so don't miss out. Simply SMS the keyword Express and your city to 33650. Remember that this competition is only available to Cape Town-based viewers. Sorry.
SMSs cost R1.50. T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Speaking of competitions, over the past week or so, we ran a competition on Facebook where we asked you to send us your best rendition of the Dr. Malinga kick to win Linga's entertainment merchandise and a Dr. Malinga CD. The entries have been hilarious, to say the least, and here we have a few of our favorites.
Dr. Malinga kick to Malinga. I shouldn't do it now.
Isn't that Carbonina?
I don't know what it is. I was going to do it, and then I realised that would have been the most inappropriate thing for me to do on
Here's
TV.
another one. Okay.
Okay. Can you guys do a Dr. Malinga kick? That's a very impressive one.
Mike is incredibly flexible.
Yeah, I want to see yours. Come, Mike, show me your...
Show us quickly, 2 seconds.
I can do it like that, but I don't think I should lift my leg.
Hey, I have zero
PTSD will be on my back.
But we have to choose a winner, and congratulations to Asipe Nomdlange, who sent us this absolutely adorable photo of her son. Oh,
yes! We love baby pictures. Always send us cute baby pictures. I love them.
That is the favourite one.
Now, Tropica Island of Treasure is back for a new season, and over the next while, the celebrities will be sharing the beach preparation tips on Afternoon Express. Today, we start off with the host herself, Miss Minnie Lamini.
They say no person's an island. Nobody told Minnie Lamini. This year, she's laying down the law, presenting the Tropica Island of Treasure 7, Seychelles.
Now, you've got until midnight on the 30th of September to purchase a Tropica pack and enter by dialing *120 *8767 and the last 4 digits of your barcode. Simply follow the prompts that are sent back to you and you're halfway to making your dream a reality.
Now that you've entered the competition, show why you deserve to be your favourite celeb's teammate on the island at the auditions. Now, they're happening at Suncoast in Durban on the 2nd of October, Shimmy Beach in Cape Town on the 4th of October, and at Gold Reef City Theme Park in Joburg on the 6th of October. Doors open at 10 a.m. and close at 4 p.m. and you must bring a valid passport or a copy to the audition. And for all T's and C's, visit tropica.co.za. Get ready for an adventure with Tropica Island of Treasure Seychelles.
Yeah, who would you partner with?
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
Oh, no, local. Are we going local?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say. #celeb crush. We'll be right back after this.
Tropica Island of Treasure is back. Are you ready to join South Africa's hottest celebrities in the Seychelles and become a TV star? Host Minnie Dlamini and Games Master Jonathan Boyton Lee want you to be part of one of 7 smooth teams led by 7 celebrities who will all compete for R1 million prize. Who will you choose? MT, Jessica Ngosi, Anga Makubalo, Carleen van Jaarsveld, Maurice Page, Zakia Patel, or Sivungezi. All you have to do is purchase a Tropica and follow the instructions on pack. Visit tropica.co.za for more details and follow the conversation online using hashtag TIOT7.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So we've been slow cooking this amazing beef ragu for basically the entire show. And now it's ready with the magic of television. And what are we going to do with it now? Because a pie is not my speciality.
Well, this is so easy. So the bone we've taken out, that marrow has cooked perfectly into the ragu. What I'm going to do is take Woolies all butter puff pastry.
No,
this isn't just normal pastry. This is like literally made with, it's like 1,000,000% butter to 1% like flour. It's all butter.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that in, do a little sprinkle of some salt and pepper. I like keeping it very rustic. These extra size pop-up, they come like the little breadsticks. And a little bit of cumin seed. Don't need any butter on there.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. And literally 20 minutes later, it's this guy over here.
This is sensational, but then this is a pie that's really good for you because there's no sides and bottom.
Yeah, kind of. It's a pot pie.
Oh, amazing. Well, there you go. Our beef ragu pie. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, if you want the recipe and, of course, the shopping list, all you need to do is SMS the keyword beef to 33650. And this is all yours. SMSs cost R1.50 each, no free SMSs, and T's and C's do apply. This is amazing. Here's a quick recap on how you can make this delicious thing. I just want to get stuck in.
Go for it.
Well, sadly, we've come to that part of the show where we have to say goodbye, but you have made this outstanding pie.
I know. And I have to tell you, when the show first started, I didn't know how to do anything in the show or anything in the kitchen.
And now you host
and I've actually learned. And now, I host the best dinner parties. You're all invited. And this is one right now. But thank you so much for coming onto the show. I mean, the content was just amazing.
Yeah.
Sharing your stories.
Thank you for your courage.
We actually met years ago, and she told me that she was going to write this book. So I'm so proud of you for writing it. Thank you so much.
Well done. Thank you to you all out there for joining us today. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Happy eating and good night.
Good night. Bye. Now let me dish up for you, lovely ladies.
Another feel-good production.